Do you think? Do you think on this intro you can add like some thunder strikes or whatever, like giving it the presence of like a darker tone?
Yeah. Sure, I can do whatever you want, man.
Hi, I'm Billy.
And I'm Jimmy.
We are the Broken Skull of podcasting, and we want to welcome you to the numbskullery that is the Zeo to Hero podcast.
Where creators and fans come together to share their love of their fandoms.
Welcome to this exciting episode of Zeo to Hero, where it's a little darker today. A little darker. We're going to go into a little dark side of the Power Rangers not fandom, I would say, the more show. We're going to dive a little deeper into the show's darkness. I am always joined by Jim. I'll never forget the first time I met him, but I'll keep trying.
All right, you can have that one. That was pretty good.
All right. So, Jim, I guess indulge us on a little bit of what we're going to be talking about.
Well, we can talk about how we kind of got to here. We actually had we had a longer interview about Samurai, with previous mention to unnecessary censorship about my ranting about Samurai from a couple episodes ago. All right, Billy, bring us back into Super Mega Force, your favorite season.
Oh God, no!
This was like, oh yeah, let's go back in this one show. Like we invite these guys to be on the show. They came on. Like, yeah, you would come back and do a review with the Power Ranger season with us. And this asshole was like, let's do Samurai. I'm like,
dude, I was hyped about it. I was like, let's do Samurai, dude. I was sitting there swinging my sword.
And then
like,
sitting there watching Samurai. I'm like, but this season sucks. God, Billy, you suck. But we had our interview with them, and that episode's coming out next week, by the way, on the Power Trip. By the way, go subscribe if you're not subscribed to them. They're a lot of fun. They're very informed. And we got into the darker, very much darker side of Samurai. And I think I might have surprised them with some of the things I brought up. Well, and it maybe bust up my list.
Well, they did say that some of the explaining we were doing kind of made the show a little more bearable.
A lot better. It's like, it went from terrible to fine. Okay. Little glances of okay. Yes. But go listen to the episode next week. We're going to promote a little bit about it, by the way. So heads up. You'll be seeing some promotional stuff about it this weekend and early next week.
Sweet Jesus.
But yes, I had to bust up my list of very dark topics about Power Rangers, and these are not from the internet. I actually made this list myself.
So you sat there in a dark room scribbling down stuff about a darker part of Power Ranger series?
Yeah, we were like 10 minutes ago. You were literally watching me do it because we were on a FaceTime call.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
We literally were sitting there
My
doing
apologies. My apologies.
God. Get it right. But yeah, before we do get started, there's a little bit of house cleaning taking from Nathan and Michael. We have interviews coming up with, and we're going to start branching off a little bit from Power Rangers. We're going to start talking a little bit more about Stranger Things. We have an interview for that coming up here really soon. We have a Batman interview coming up. So it's more of a DC Comics, but it's a Batman-esque themed one. And don't shake your head no at me.
I popped my neck, and now I can't feel my legs.
Sounds like more of a medical issue than what you should be telling me. And a few other things coming down the pipeline. If you haven't already and you've listened to the show on Apple Podcasts, go leave us a review and a rating. You can give us a 5-star rating and just call us a bunch of twats. I don't care. I want more ratings if you can give us more ratings. And go check out Baker Rangers and go check out Iron Avenger and Neon Lights and Cosplay Dudes shows. Just because you need to go check them out. And if you leave us a review, go leave them a review too.
You find us, and their shows are at the bottom of the page. So
if they listen to us, they've already found us, so you're good.
Yeah.
All right, you
So-
ready to get this get this shit show on the road?
You damn right. Let's pitter patter.
All right, which you see my list? What do you want to talk about first? Do you want to go from like start to finish?
Let's just get the horrible one out of the way. Let's just do the worst one. Let's go with Megaforce.
All right. Sure. All right, Nathan, Michael, if you're listening to this, this is my like idea on Megaforce. All right.
Yes.
So you know how it's like super campy and like completely and totally deadpanned, right? There's no real funny moments in this show. These characters are surviving annihilation events over and over and over again, and they've completely broken as human beings. Like even in the show, like even in the school. So like you go to the school, right? There's a bunch of episodes in the school. They're hanging out. They're doing stuff in the school, and they are just completely broken people. Every one of them, and even the professor, who's kind of like fun, but he's only fun because he's scared. Because he's trying not to think about these annihilation events that just keep happening every single day. And at the end of season 1, almost the entire city's gone. So yeah, they're like freaking out, and there's no help from the government. All they can rely on are these 5 or 6 colorful, characters in suits with these giant megazords that are destroying buildings all the time, and they're like being forced to say that they're heroes. They're not heroes. They keep destroying everything. So
well, yes.
it's this
Well, they're not heroes. I would just say that they're damage control.
kind of like that's about it. Like it's real Civil War-y, like the Civil War,
Yeah.
Marvel Civil War, where it was like we need to have a registration for these heroes who are destroying things, and they're like, no registration for us. But then they're
Yeah.
openly talking about this in like the Shake Shack or whatever, openly talking about stuff they're doing as Rangers, but no one pays attention to them because they're all terrified of these people because they're color coded to the Rangers. A and B,
Yes.
all the talk about is Power Ranger stuff, so people are freaking out about these people.
Ah.
People know. So that's my theory on Megaforce. Anyways, it's real Marvel Civil War like conversation.
Yeah. Now, does this translate over to the Super series?
Yes.
Same
Yeah,
thing,
because it's
different
the
suits.
thing. Okay, the thing about so, and people complain about so this is gonna span over both seasons. They complain about Gosei always giving them all this stuff, right? Without them have to try, right? They don't have to try because it's an annihilation event. You're not gonna have trials and tribulations for these kids or trying to save the world. You're not going to. Like if you're trying to do that, like why? Why are you trying to do that? For these kids are just trying to save the world. They're risking their life every single time they go out. Every time.
At this point, he's just got the nuclear codes and he's got the 2 keys and he's just opening up the vault for them.
He's just letting it go.
I mean, I do give him credit. I do like the fact that they were able to use past Rangers.
Yeah.
So I like that idea.
But like that's the only way you're saving the world. You get past Rangers, a couple past Rangers showing up, and then like at the end of the season you get the Mega Force battle, and like Tommy's like, oh, we left the Ranger powers in good hands because they somehow survived this annihilation event. So yeah, they saved the world barely, but they saved the world, and guess what? They're not coming back anytime soon. We're good. Like they somehow survived that. I don't know why the other Rangers hasn't showed up beforehand, but like maybe they didn't have their powers, so they weren't gonna risk their life without their powers. That means the other Power Rangers are cowards. The only ones who weren't cowards, Jaden and freaking Casey.
Yeah. Now, would they have, since the current season's Dino Fury, do you think that the Super Mega Force would have the Dino Fury keys for them?
No.
Or would it's a different time? No, it's the same timeline.
Same timeline, but no, they wouldn't have the Dino Fury keys because the Dino Fury keys, those powers never left. They never gave up those powers. They were always sealed within. They were always sealed. The one was being consistently used for Zato to keep him alive. And, what's his name? No, what's his name? The Gold Ranger.
Ion?
Ion. Why couldn't I was thinking Aeon. Ion was always morph to stay alive, and the other keys were all locked away. So the other powers are still locked away, so they couldn't ever become part of the morphing grid again. They were sitting there.
I still don't understand how many episodes you got in before they found the light and dark key right above their base.
Yeah, you're like, wait. You're like,
wait.
hold up. Hold up.
Huh, wait, you've been here this long? What? Alright.
Yeah, so that's my explanation for Megaforce and what it makes it a little bit better. I do want to go in longer detail about these, but I don't want this episode to be 3.5 hours long, like the Samurai episode's gonna be.
3.5.
Maybe like 3.5, 3:25 ish. It's over 3 hours.
It was a fun 3.5.
Mr. over here doesn't have anything important to say. Just yeah. The entire episode.
I had some witty one-liners.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. And we're doing 2 at a time. So 1 and 2, and then we're gonna cut for a commercial and make you guys listen to a commercial that we came up with, and then we'll get back to the show. So the next one, which one do you want to do next? Do you want to do the other terrible one?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do Overdrive with the failure.
All right. So Overdrive is dealing with failure, constant failure. I had to readjust my seat for this one.
Uh-huh.
So Mr. Hawthorne can't have a son. You know,
Yes.
never been able to have a child. So that's failure number 1. He wants a kid, can't ever have a kid. Failure number 1. Failure number 2. These rangers are being pulled like from the top of their class, like top of their stuff, but they don't want to be rangers at all. He did not make any point of being a ranger and entertaining for them whatsoever. Failure number 2. Failure number 3. The damn butler is the coolest person in the entire show.
I'll agree.
Failure number 4. They don't win every battle at all. They lose a lot more than they win altogether, like completely.
Yeah.
So Operation Overdrive is I know people want to be optimistic about Operation Overdrive because it's the once a ranger always a ranger episode, and that's a cool thing. That's another failure point. Like they just gave up. They just stopped because they still have civilian powers, but they just stopped. They're like, nah, we're good. We don't want you to do it anymore. Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of failure where you're dealing with your own failures and how you've messed up. And every time they fail, it's always because of one of the rangers. Like they failed because of one of the rangers. And they're dealing with their failures and how it affects them as a team and how you can overcome your own failures. But overall,
yeah, I was gonna say you can see it within the Rangers on like episode to episode. Like there's one where he's not really focused on being a ranger. He wants to be an actor.
Yeah, Dax. Yeah,
yeah,
because he's a failure as an actor.
Yeah, so you can see like it translate over. Like the other one's a thief.
Yeah.
Or he's a professional thief, but he fails at that too. So
yeah, he has to use.
You just see it.
Yeah, he never uses his thieving abilities after the first episode. Total failure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, he does at that con, but that's the actor himself. But yeah, and so like you see these characters keep failing and failing and failing, and like you're watching them constantly have to deal with that, and the thing is, it's not end of the world either. It's not. They're globetrotting. They're trying to go across. Like they're felt Indiana Jones. Like that's what they are. And I know I keep saying the word failure a lot, but they disappoint themselves how badly they lose a lot. And it's downbeaten. Like near the end of the season, like they're barely keeping it together. And like Hawthorne, Hawthorne, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Hawthorne is like he's finally acknowledging like his son's an android. He himself isn't perfect.
Harford. It's Harford.
Harford. Like his son himself isn't perfect, and that the team he might have chosen might not be the best team for the job. Like you start seeing him question himself.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, especially after he gets done dealing with the former Rangers. He's like, man, these former Rangers are a lot better than these kids.
Oh
So-
yeah, when he sees them in action, holy God.
And the butler has to tell him, like, hey, man, you chose these people because of their skills. Grow up, deal with them. Like, they're here for you. They came back for you for this mission. Don't fail them. So, yeah. That's my Operation Overdrive, to make Operation Overdrive just feel a little bit better. A little bit better. All right.
Yes.
You got any witty one-liners you want to say with that one?
You got me. I got nothing on that one. I only watched like half that season, so I can't implement anything.
You know, I watched that season a lot when I was hanging out with our Scoutmaster, but the Sunlight Power Rangers too. And so that was the season.
Who was that?
Dylan liked Power Rangers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did.
That's right.
Yeah, and we would watch Operation Overdrive because he had all the Time Force toys, but Operation Overdrive was the big one during that time. We were hanging out all the time at his house.
Right.
Yeah, that's when I watched it.
Okay.
You know, last time I watched it, I was just in grade school.
Prepare for an epic crossover like never before. Except for the first time on the podcast. Well, it is a crossover. You meant to cross over with both. Prepare for the second part of this epic crossover by two powerhouses of Ranger podcasts in one corner. Can we say corner? They're in chairs and talking over the internet. On one side, the bulk and skull of podcasts, Billy and Jimmy, Zeo to Hero. And on the other side, the hosts of Power Trip, Michael and Nathan, do battle. Wait, they're not fighting, they're talking. Discuss Power Rangers Samurai. Listen to this epic podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast. This promo is approved by the Red Cornish Ranger, a member of the Zeo to Hero Network.
Welcome back, everybody, from the commercial. Let's just break this one down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Take it away, Jim.
What?
Pathetic.
I thought you were gonna do it.
I thought you were gonna do. Oh my God.
Well,
here we
here's the
go.
clip
All right.
anyways. We don't talk about turbo.
Yes. I don't know. Jim has an interesting take on Power Rangers Turbo, which I've seen this for the first time. So, Jim, what is this PTSD that we got from
Blow
Turbo?
your mind.
I don't got one to begin with to blow, so
All
let's do it.
So Turbo deals with PTSD. All right.
Uh-huh. Right.
Okay. So think of it like this.
Go on.
So these Rangers, the first set of
Right.
Rangers, minus Justin, but we'll get to Justin here in a minute. Okay.
Okay.
Tommy, Adam, Aisha? Yes. No.
Yes.
Aisha, and Kat. All four of them watched Rocky break his back. Okay.
Yes.
That set them off. Before that, they
Okay.
literally just got done watching Jason almost die from these powers, from the Zeo powers.
Yes.
And then instantly, and they're still using the Zeo powers knowing how dangerous they are, right? They're still using
Right.
them up till the Turbo movie. So we saw them try to morph in the Turbo movie to the Zeo powers. That means they
Right.
still had access to the Zeo powers. So they're
Right.
freaking out about this, and they're not really letting it show through. They got to be good soldiers for Zordon. They got to be good soldiers. All right, they're freaking out, and so the whole first half of the season is them just doing things to get their mind off of the fact that they're Rangers and can still die, even though like they have the power suits and they're still going through all these crazy things. Tommy picks up car racing. Never even talked about it
Yes.
before. Ever before.
And he's a good distance away, too. He's a completely different.
Yeah, never talked
area.
about it before. Not once.
Not at all.
Not Aisha. Tanya. It's Tanya.
Tanya.
Tanya picks up being a radio DJ. All right?
Yes.
Super weird.
Yeah.
Never talked about it before. Adam becomes a coach.
Yeah, a soccer coach.
Coach.
Yeah.
Never talked about that before either. What did Kat do?
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one. What did she do? The last time I ever remember, she was doing a graduation.
Yeah, she gave that really cool, really awkward speech at graduation. Yes, but what was she doing outside of that?
I am looking that up.
And they weren't doing these things. They weren't doing these things to, earn money, because they clearly had a bunch of different skill sets they could have used. These are things they had no skills in that they could dedicate their large amounts of time to distract themselves from their PTSD.
Well, they also saw Jason dying from the Zeo gold powers at an accelerated rate.
I literally said that.
Yeah.
Like
You said that they saw him dying, but they saw him dying at a faster rate.
And they just got done with the Zeo powers, like all the Machine Empire, King Mondo, still doing those Zeo powers, like feeling themselves get to that point where Jason was, like slowly feeling the power overwhelm them. So yeah, like they were freaking out. And then they got the turbo powers, which are a lot less powerful, but that also meant they were vulnerable. The turbo powers could be destroyed. They were never nearly as powerful as the Zeo powers. Zordon just said in the movie that they're the most powerful. They're
just ordinary cars.
No, Tanya. They are extraordinary cars. Vehicles equipped with the power and velocity of turbo technology. Individually, they are formidable fighting machines. But when merged together, they form the Turbo Megazord, the most powerful Zord ever created.
Powerful powers, right? The most powerful suits.
Yeah.
The turbo power is the most powerful power ever created. In this on Earth.
I think up until that point, that was the most powerful.
Up to that point, the Zeo powers are the most powerful, but they weren't created. They were just transferred into them.
Yeah.
So the turbo power is the most powerful. He's created. So, but it paled in comparison to the Zeo powers. Paled in comparison. So they're suffering from fear and PTSD of watching their best friend almost die and their other best friend almost, become a paraplegic.
Right.
They watch that, and that comes into Justin. Justin watched this happen too. Justin watched him fly off and break his back. All right, and then he watched the Power Rangers talk about being Power Rangers and being afraid. That hits a kid weird, especially a kid as smart as Justin. He's a smart kid. He understands that things are not nearly what you think they are.
I found out. I found out what Kat did.
What's Kat doing?
She went to London. She was becoming a ballerina and musician.
See, exceptionally time-consuming thing to take her mind off the PTSD and the fear, and the pure stress of being a ranger. I'm telling you,
when they replaced her with Cassie in Turbo, she went to London to fulfill her dream.
So, and then we get to the power switch to the TJ, Carlos, Cassie, and Ashley, right? So the Justin stuck with this fear of watching his heroes almost die, because the Blue Ranger almost die, and then being around adults who are afraid, living in fear,
and being a kid with this too is horrific.
Yeah, and so he has to deal with two sets of Rangers that go through the exact same similar things.
Oh yeah.
TJ and Cassie watched Tommy almost get sucked into a vortex of darkness, Carlos was fighting Piranhatrons while watching the Green Ranger get beat up. Same with Ashley. Ashley was helping evacuate people who were injured in an extremely stressful environment. So they're all suffering from some kind of stress, some kind of disorder after this. They're all suffering from it. And you clearly can see later on, Justin can't sleep. It goes to that
true.
Always in Blue, right?
Yeah.
Back or Always in Blue or Hero in Blue, whatever. The episode where he comes back, he has problems sleeping. He wakes up just by some car lights flashing.
Yep.
All right. We also see that they're on the Astro Mega Ship and in space. These former Turbo Rangers are in the Astro Mega Ship, and they're just compounding on them with the fact that Zane exists. That Andrus has been talking about his old teammate who almost died. a couple times. So they're like,
Right.
oh, hey, this is kind of scary. And they all have problems sleeping. All of them.
All of
yeah.
them, yeah.
So Turbo into End of Space, I feel like they deal with a lot of PTSD, a lot of fear, a lot of extreme stress.
Oh,
Like,
well, especially when you go from Earth to space standards.
yeah, really quickly,
Really quickly, you have to like acclimate to that situation too, which I know it's not easy.
Yeah, there's no easy way to do that. But even with that, like, you know, they're going from, they're just bounced around at that point, one place to the next place, just trying to set it right, like trying to get they're trying to find Zordon, like the last bastion of hope. Like they're trying to ease their fears, because they find everything was okay when Zordon was around. Everything was okay.
Yeah.
Zordon had all the answers. He just wasn't telling all the answers.
At the end, Andros has to live with destroying Zordon.
Andros has to live with that.
For
Andros
the
has to
sake
live
of
with
the
killing
universe.
Zordon. Yeah, that was like that's something he has to live with the rest of his life.
PTSD.
Yep. I really wish you would bring it up in the show, but yeah. All right. So that's my thoughts on Turbo. How it's much darker, and it kind of makes, to me, it makes more sense like that. Like they're people who are, and that's why they lose to Divatox. Like,
Oh yeah.
like
yeah.
Divatox should not have like won that easily, but you're dealing with a team that has issues. Yeah, you're gonna win.
Especially when you separate them too, like they're not together. If you go pick them one by one, it's easier.
Yep, exactly.
Which you can see that she did with overrunning the command center.
Yep, exactly. All right.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. All right, we do Wild Force next.
Yeah.
Oh man, Wild Force is fun. All right. This is mostly.
Go on this because what you got here is kind of what I see. I've seen it too in there.
Yeah. Wild Force is all about sexism. So you remember Taylor was like the leader of the team before Cole showed up?
Yes.
Yeah, but
Wait, Taylor was the yellow,
yeah,
right?
Taylor was yellow. The second
Yes,
Cole
that's
showed
right.
up, instantly she became number 4.
How
instantly.
did she go from 1 to 4?
Well, clearly
Oh, shit.
she doesn't have a member. She doesn't have 2 member berries.
Oh.
But yeah. So yeah, she goes from 1 to 4 like instantly. All right. So you get that. So she literally gets demoted instantly when Cole shows up.
Yeah.
And she's a great leader. She actually knew and understood how the powers worked. Unlike Cole, who didn't understand how a cell phone worked, but he had a cell phone morpher.
Jeez. A man from the wild gets a cell phone morpher.
A man raised by wolves gets a cell phone morpher and the lion stuff. Okay, yeah, sure.
Man, we must be a bunch of chumps because we're paying for a phone service.
Exactly. This is bull malarkey.
We should go live with wolves and get recruited into the Power Rangers.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right, and then we go. And so Taylor gets backseated the rest of the season, entirely backseated. Like she has no opinion at that point after that, and she was a great ranger, great leader. All right, from there we also have a villain who gets tossed around a lot. What's her name again? Toxica.
Toxica.
Toxica is literally a human
Yes.
shield. She's literally a human shield
Gendrix.
for Gendrix, yeah. Which is not fun for anybody involved with that, because she gets whooped a lot and it's terrible. She gets thrown around, and I'm like, why? What's going on here? She even gets her. I remember her horn gets broken off at one point. Like she gets torn up.
That's right.
And I feel really bad for her because, like, she's not a bad character. She's not a bad person. Like she's a bad guy, but she's not really a bad guy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
She's not bad through and through.
Yeah, she's not bad there, but she's abused constantly by these males, like the male orcs. Yeah, orcs?
Yes.
Orcs.
Yeah, you're orgs. No,
Orgs.
orcs. Yeah, you're right. Because it's Master Orc.
Yeah, and they're just gonna get abused, and she gets abused by him too.
Yeah, big time. You see that.
And
too
then
in
you
there.
have what's her name? The princess. What's her name?
Ooh, this is gonna be tough. I haven't seen that in a long time. Princess.
Dun, 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 dun.
Princess Shayla?
Princess Shayla?
Yeah, that's the one you're talking about, right?
The one that's like, oh,
Wild
I
Horse?
must protect the place. Wah.
Yeah, of Animarium?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's her.
Princess Shayla.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. Princess Shayla is the Serbian to a little boy god king.
Oh, yes.
A
Yeah,
little
you're right.
boy god king.
He takes the Zords away at some point.
This little
like-
boy
Little boy.
is like, no, you don't get any more Zords. And nope, Animaria doesn't need to ever come back to Earth. Haha, sucks to be you. Haha,
Yeah.
I am God King. Listen to me.
Little boy
and-
God King.
I am little boy God King, who is actually a Megazord, but still little boy God King.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a twist.
What a twist! So dumb. But yeah, it's complete sexism, man. Complete sexism. Come on, they have Cole
Yeah,
ripping
yeah.
off his shirt multiple times in this season. That's fan service
Yeah,
for all
they
the
even
ladies out there.
for all the little boy Megazords.
All the little boy God King Megazords.
Put that on a shirt.
Little boy
that
God
on a
King
shirt.
Megazords. Oh my goodness. But yeah,
Like,
no,
and
it's
the Zords could be like little chibis. Little chibi Zords.
but you know, it's total nonsense, man. Total nonsense. And it's a
Yeah.
lot of sexism in this season. What's the Pink Ranger's name again?
Oh. Let me look this up because it's been a while.
Let's go to the Googles.
Alyssa.
Wild Force. Wild Force. Wild Force. Wild Force.
Did anybody ever say that your singing is impeccable?
I believe some little boy God King Megazord told me that.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Damn.
Yes.
All right. Let's see.
It's Alyssa.
Yeah, like the whole episode, like she gets pulled out of her whole career to just fight these orgs, and like,
Wasn't she in the medical career?
no, she wouldn't be a teacher.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is really smart, you know, but she's really smart, but she had to listen to this little boy God King and like give up her life to protect the Animaria.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then then Merritt comes back and oh my god, the whole Merrick subplot, so dumb.
Oh, wasn't he like another a beast at the beginning?
Yeah, he was the lunar something.
Yeah, like the werewolf, whatever.
Yeah, he was like the and like you could say he's dealing with duality and shit, but like he's not. It's let's see, Zanaku.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Zanaku. Yes.
And you can tell he's dealing with humanity and duality. He's not dealing with that. It's evil for being the sake of evil. Like he's gonna be evil because he was changed to something to be evil, and so he's not dealing with his duality. And you can even say he suffers from PTSD later in the series as well from all the things he did. And you know he's over 3,000 years old at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's gonna be a little messed up on the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No joke.
Yeah, I got a lot about Wild Force I can talk about. Like, it's fine. Like, he's a fine character. It just, I don't see why people like him so much. I think he's a very
Right.
boring character. Like, he's fine, but I don't think he's.
He
all
was
that
interesting the
Like, I think
least.
he's
Like
meh.
he.
Like he goes
Yeah, I
to
didn't-
like he goes to bars to get some fights with people.
Yeah.
He's clearly.
He also has a
dealing with
lunar
something. Yeah.
lunar Q, which is very odd.
Yeah, it's kind of like like an Operation Overdrive with the Silver Ranger, the Mercury Ranger. There, he has a metal detector.
Yeah, that's his
Yeah.
weapon.
Metal detector. What?
What?
The metal detector. What? You got anything else you want to say about it?
Oh man, Wild Force was a fun season, but there was obvious things in there that now that we're adults, we see it. So
Yeah.
let's hit that commercial, bud.
Hi, this is Ben from Baker Rangers, and we are a part of the network of Zeo to Hero. So if you like what you're hearing from Jim and Billy, then come check us out. Baker Rangers on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast.
Welcome back to whatever squabbling baboon that we had on there. That'd be funny if, at the end of the commercial, you put a little monkey,
Uncontrollable screaming to the camera.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
all right. We're gonna get to our last two because I want to do 6 of these because I have 6.
and 6 is an even number.
Right.
So let's do it.
We technically have already done 5. We want to mention it in space, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to count it. All right. My next one, in order, is going to be Ninja Storm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to get kind of messed up. Oh.
So the theory behind this is a survivor's guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
All right. All right. Okay. So, remember at the beginning of the season when all the other Ninja Academy guys are taken away to Lothar's ship?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't know if they're alive or dead. They show up
Wait.
late because they're being lazy, bad students.
So they're the last 3.
The last 3 because of their incompetence.
Right.
So they have to strive to do better than they have to strive to do better than they've ever done before because they are they feel guilty for the only ones left.
Yes.
If they were there early, they would have been with them. They would have died with them. Survivor guilt's a messed up thing. It makes you do some real messed up things.
Oh yeah.
It really sets a toll on you too. And they have it. They're suffering every single time they morph because they don't deserve. They're not worthy of holding those morphers at all. They were always messing up in all their stuff. They even in the beginning, we're not the Power Rangers. Well, you are now. You're the only ones here, guys.
Yeah.
You're the only ones left. And so they're put under a lot of pressure, and it doesn't help the fact that Lothar is such a bumbling idiot the entire show. Yeah. Where he's not that terrifying, but these Rangers are having a struggle against him because they're dealing with survivor's guilt. It's the core Rangers, and then you have the Thunder Rangers who show up who were evil, and now then they become good because they were told, and they were misled. I feel like they are surviving a cult. They're getting pulled out of this cult.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, they were Stockholm syndrome into believing that the Air Ninjas were the ones who destroyed everyone they loved, including another set of survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Yep. Then Cam comes along, who's his mom died, and his dad got turned into a guinea pig.
Geez.
So another set of survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
All
and the fact that he had to
guilt.
go back in time to get the samurai morpher, basically.
The samuraizer? Yeah.
The samurai.
Green Samurai.
To talk to his mother.
Talk to his mom, and knowing she's gonna die, cannot tell her that she's gonna die.
Cannot tell her
that he loves her. Nothing. He can't say any of that because he knows it's gonna break the timeline. So more emotional trauma. More of it.
Yep. Which then makes me think that might have played into, and God forbid crucify me here, but Cam is the strongest Green Ranger in the franchise history.
Yeah, because he has to try. He's pushing himself very hard to be better than everyone else because he knows that he had to give up so much to get that power, and he doesn't deserve it.
Yep. And not to only say that, physical feats, strength.
Yeah.
And he has the knowledge.
He's one of the smartest people in the Ranger universe.
Yes.
He's also one of the strongest people in the Ranger universe, and he's told he deserves this, this Green Ranger power, but he doesn't really believe it. He really doesn't. Like, he's always fighting about it. Like, he's always like, he's like, yeah, I'm a Power Ranger, but you never really feel like he ever accepts it.
He doesn't own it. He doesn't own up to it until he proves to himself that he can do it.
Mm-hmm. And he doesn't.
I think it was when he dropped the shoulder arm, the vest armor.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like when he believed it.
The first time, yeah. Like when he finally was able to actually take on a monster and whoop it. Yeah.
Yeah, was single-handedly.
And not with a Megazord, but just himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not with the Megazord, but himself. Yeah. So I feel like the writer did a good job, kind of conveying, that people can push themselves really far when they feel like when they feel guilty.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if the Sentai counterpart had that same issue.
No.
Her Ranger.
Not really. No. It's a completely different show.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know. I wonder if it was the same.
Just like the other show we're about to talk about called Dino Thunder, which is completely different than the actual Sentai counterpart as well.
Yeah, the Abba Ranger.
Yeah, it's completely different. Like, it's a joke series, but they played it really straight in the American series.
So Dino Thunder. So your theory behind the Dino Thunder is overcoming failure.
Overcoming abject failure, to be fair with you.
Okay.
Maybe abject failure?
All right.
Yes. Because Tommy... so Tommy's in this season, right? He's the mentor for this season.
Yes.
He failed. Miserably failed. Right?
Uh-huh.
His replacement he picked lost the turbo powers, lost Zordon, lost the command center, lost everything. Everything he worked up to, every single step he worked up to, his replacement lost it.
Now that you say that, holy God, yes, you're right.
Lost. And Zordon died because of him.
Yeah?
Yeah, because he stepped off. He was like, no, I can't do this anymore. Later, guys, Zordon died. His mentor, his cult leader died. So, yeah, he's pushing these kids constantly to do better because he failed his team so horribly bad.
Yeah. And at one point, he actually, I think, I don't know, I feel like he probably tries to redeem himself in the series 2 when he becomes the Black Dino Thunder Ranger.
I don't think that's when he tried to redeem himself. I think his redemption arc actually happens with Trent. When he tells Trent that he understands. Like, he's like, I understand where you're coming from.
Yes.
Yeah, that was his redemption arc. The rest of it, like him becoming a ranger, was just, he was a good ranger anyway. He was a good ranger, so might as well take up a ranger power and put in what he could.
Trent had a Moon Knight kind of complex where like he couldn't control when he would morph into the evil White Ranger.
Yeah, like his duality was good and bad, and he had no control over either side. And that's a whole other like can of worms I can get into.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But honestly, okay, I'm gonna say something here that might make you mad a little bit, or at least might piss off some people. I don't know, maybe, who knows? I'm not the biggest fan of Dino Thunder.
Me neither.
No,
I didn't like it.
So, okay, I know we just got done talking good about like, Tommy and stuff, but like freaking Dino Thunder is just green with evil all over again. And it's that 5-episode arc got stretched out an entire season. Like, Trent was introduced fairly early. Like,
very, yes.
And I get that Dino Thunder's not a bad, like, it's not a bad season, but I feel like it's just rehashing everything from Green with Evil. And I find it repetitive and boring.
I didn't like how, okay, well, they had Super Dino mode, and then they had Jurassic mode.
Jurassic mode.
Jurassic mode.
Jurassic.
I mean, outside that, like, it was pretty one-dimensional. Like, we got Tommy again.
Tommy. And who else? Tommy's Minions. It's a Tommy Oliver show?
Yes.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I did like Haley, the computer nerd lady. I liked her. She was fun.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yeah, it's another Tom Oliver show, and the season was fine, but like I feel like they never really addressed the actual failure of Tommy. And if they would have addressed it, I think it would have been a lot better. Because he has that dream sequence of what?
Oh yeah, the dream sequence. I was gonna
that-
say the one thing I could probably take away from this that was really fun or something was when they watched themselves on TV in Japan.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. But like, I really wish they would have like really talked about Tommy's failure and stuff, and not just like him being afraid of himself. I really, really wish they would have like actually talked about him failing, or like how he didn't think he was good enough, even though he like spin kicked a dinosaur in the face in the first episode.
Oh.
Yeah.
Didn't he have like a contract dispute or something like halfway through?
Disney got mad at him about it and was like, "Hey, he was eating high odds and stuff." He's like, Disney was like, "You need to stop cussing." He's like, "That's what I say." And then about halfway through, he had something else he had to work on, so he they put the suit, the Dino Thunder suit on, and had him record his voice lines over really quickly. And so like you can clearly tell like he's not enthused about it, but he has to do it like that. So like you can clearly tell he's not enthused. Contractual obligations. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Doug gets it. That's really all I got on this for the most part. Yeah, that's really all I got for my little list I made in like 30 minutes really quickly about stuff I was thinking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Suck it, nerd. So, Jam, today's episode has been a very delightful, darker side. Muhahahaha.
Sure.
This is always fun to think about the opposite side of Power Rangers because everybody sees the positive sides, the more
Teenager with
physical,
attitude.
teenage attitude, the physical features, the takeaways. But we wanted to show the darker side and maybe like I don't know what the Rangers actually dealt with that we might have not have seen transparently on screen, like spoken wise.
Yeah.
So
it's like you watch Power Rangers and then you never really like most people don't think too much about it. They don't do these deep dives into it, and that's fine because you have your own life and stuff. And Power Rangers, it's a lot. There's a lot going on in Power Rangers, and the thing is like no one really does deep dives into it, and so like whenever someone does somewhat of a deep dive, it's like that's accepted at that point.
Yeah.
And so
I love doing these like deeper dives and closing plot holes. Just thinking outside the box, and because the Power Ranger series, they leave holes. They leave holes in things, and I love going through and like trying to connect them. And the comics do pretty well, but they're not canon to the show, so we can't really say here nor there with them.
it's nice to see, like, it's nice doing these kind of things because then you get to talk about other things and, like, get deeper into not just theories, but, like, themes and, like, how you actually feel about the series and what makes you think, what you think about the series and stuff like that. And it's, like, PTSD never gets really brought up in Power Rangers. Like,
it's an unspoken thing in today's society, honestly.
And same thing with, like, sexism. It's never really talked about in Power Rangers either. It's just something that's not really talked about, and I think if we do talk about it, it's going to make more of an impact.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where can you find everyone, Billy?
Man, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Honestly, like, anywhere that there's social medias, we're probably going to be on it at zeotohero. You can find us on our website at zeotohero.com, or no personal plugs, which just redirects you to our page. Definitely go check out our merch store. We have some shirts available. Actually, very good quality shirts. I bought one myself, and it has not fallen apart with my stretch marks.
It hasn't fallen apart like you have.
Thanks, Jim. Maybe I can get translated into a Power Ranger series.
No, not gonna happen. Not a chance. Don't. No, stop. No.
Okay.
All right. Well, while we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts on this? Like, this discussion, like just anything particular you actually want to say about anything that I might have said that you might want to reiterate or like stick the landing for?
You know what? Let's stick the landing on some Power Rangers Turbos. My final thoughts on Power Rangers Turbos was an excellent. This episode was not sponsored by Hasbro Lightning Collection or Organized Psychiatrists of America. Thanks for listening to Zeo to Hero. Catch us next week as we might bring in Batman and whoop him with Green Lantern.